We are back with you live once again on another Johnny Torch live broadcast. Welcome in to broadcast number 212. Torch News Roundup this afternoon, number 181. Welcome in to another sort of hot summer afternoon here. The only way to spend your Saturday here with us on the Johnny Torch program. 8/8/20. Sounds like the date of infinity, so to speak. All right, so not much of a broadcast, really. We don't have a lot to talk about. That seems to be the way it's been lately. There isn't exactly, usually when it's, Comic-Con season, there's news hand over fist, and I do 2 videos a week, and wow, we get so much to talk about. Of course, I don't need to tell you the state of affairs makes it difficult to get any relevant news about upcoming projects, only to discuss when they've been postponed or when they've been canceled outright. So not a whole lot to talk about, but we'll make do with the little information that's out. I feel a little tongue-tied because I'm drinking soda for a change. Usually I have water when I'm doing a broadcast. You don't really want to burp, and that's kind of what soda does. But I'm going to indulge a little bit today, so excuse me if that is the case. It's Pepsi, by the way. This broadcast is not sponsored by Pepsi, but I'm going to try for that endorsement deal. Okay, so let's see. First off, first order of business, please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. The 2 subscribers that I boasted of last week, well, now I'm down to 128 again, so YouTube playing games maybe, or some people didn't stay subbed, I don't know. But if you would so inclined, please make sure you hit that sub. Try to get us up there a little bit larger in subscriber count than we already are. Be sure you like and share whenever possible, and we have a lot of fun here. Try to do a show every Saturday. And make sure you check out the link in the description for The Adventures of Bullets, Bourbon, Private Eye. I am now in the final phase of issue number 7. It came along pretty fast because there's only 16 story pages. I still got to come up with 2 pinups. And I've got roughly 2 1/4 pages to color. So again, I don't like prognosticating because every time I do, I come up way going over the supposed deadline. But I'm expecting to be finished by the end of the month. And again, if you follow weekly, I still am not putting together the Indiegogo campaign that I probably should. I don't know. It just seems like a lot of work. And I put all my energies to coloring the book. So once again, if you check the link in the description below, you could pick up the remasters 2 and 3. They're still on sale. And I feel like I ought to just list 1 because remaster number 1. But see, now that the first 3 books are remastered, now's probably the time for Indiegogo, especially when you don't have too many comic stores open. There really isn't much you can do to, peruse your local comic shop. So probably Indiegogo is the way to go. I'll see if I can put something together, hopefully by the end of the week. But again, no promises. Also check the link in the description below for our Twitter page. You can check that out. I'm also working on a Redbubble store to replace the Zazzle store I have. I think Redbubble's a little bit better, a little cheaper to buy products from. I'm not sure, but anyway, I have a feeling that they're a superior brand, so I'm moving a lot of stuff over to Redbubble, so you might want to check that out. I don't know if I put the link up yet for that, but stay tuned to the website, and I'll probably change those links, or at least put another one, because I think the Zazzle store will still be open, but I'm putting the new products up in Redbubble. Also, you could check out the free preview pages if you want to take a look at some of Bullets, Bourbon, the third chronicle, which is the When the Night Comes storyline, where Bullets takes on Carrot Top and Pencil Neck, his two most dangerous foes, with the fate of the free world at stake. So, yeah, please check out the website. It's also got my schedule for the Fortune and Glory Johnny Torch 2020 Comic-Con tour. Of course, there are no Comic-Cons open, but it gives you the address for the New Hampshire flea market that I've been attending off and on occasion. I took this week off yet again. It seemed like there could be some rain, and of course, when you're selling books in an open air environment, even with a tent or an awning or something covering you, it's not really a good idea. So I kind of decided to pass today, but I'm going to try to hit the flea market a couple more times before summer is over. It's still early August. We got a couple more weeks. August to, maybe early September as well. So keep an eye open for that. I'll always post on Twitter the night before, so you can check it out that night or Saturday morning if I'm going to attend. All right, so with all that business out of the way, let's take a look at some of the few stories we have to cover here on the Johnny Torch Live broadcast. We're going to start off today with Captain Marvel 2. Boy, is that exciting news. Captain Marvel 2 has found a director. According to Dateline, Marvel has enlisted Candyman reboot helmer Nia DaCosta. Makes me wonder if this DaCosta Marvel plenty to get Nia DaCosta. Let's see. Nia DaCosta will helm the highly anticipated sequel, which will see Brie Larson make her return as Carol Danvers. This makes DaCosta the first black woman to direct a Marvel Studios film. Now, again, that's kind of what they're going for nowadays with the woke agenda. We want to make sure we have the first female director, the first black director, the first female black director. I'm sure the first trans director is in the wings, and so on and so forth. Let us continue. We were told that the first movie's directors, Ann Bowden and Ryan Fleck, would not be returning back when the sequel was announced as being officially in development, and Marvel had been searching for a female filmmaker to take over since. Kevin Feige and company are said to have been meeting with candidates for the past couple of months. No one else is named in the report, but DaCosta seemed to have the edge for some time. WandaVision writer Megan McDonnell penned the script. Plot details for Captain Marvel 2 remain under wraps for now, but there are rumors that Ms. Marvel will make an appearance. There's also a lot of speculation that the sequel will take influence from the Secret Invasion comic arc, which would make a certain amount of sense following the events of the first film. That's kind of a touchy thing. I don't know. I didn't read Secret Invasion, but I always kind of had a problem with that concept that, that everything is wrong concept where, I can't remember how many characters were actually revealed to have been Skrulls. Captain America, I think, was one. Spider-Woman was another. I don't know, stuff like that. And we're kind of already told that Nick Fury was one. Of course, spoilers for Captain Marvel. But when that all took place in the MCU timeline is still up for debate. I don't know. I know that there was... There's always been a lot of contention here about the Captain Marvel movies, the Captain Marvel character. Marvel pushing her as sort of a feminist icon, a very woke character, which I've gone on record before saying many times. The Captain Marvel in the comics, or I should say the Carol Danvers version of Captain Marvel has always been pretty feminist leaning as far back as the 70s. But, with the woke climate, it's gotten really bad, but I don't think Captain Marvel, the film, was completely a disaster, but it was very unremarkable. So hopefully Ms. DaCosta can inject some more fun and enthusiasm in it. It as I said before, you can check out my review. It's up there somewhere in my review playlists. But, it feels like they really didn't do anything rather than a by-the-numbers origin. The villains were woefully misused. Jude Law completely wasted. There was no real high stakes, it felt like, for Carol. There was no learning curve. It just kind of felt like a routine by-the-numbers film. And again, that doesn't really make it a bad film as much as it is the soul of mediocrity, in my opinion. And of course, a lot is made of Brie Larson not being particularly talented or whatever. I don't know. I didn't have a problem with her, but you need a good script and a good director to try to plot this thing in the right direction. Plot a good course for this next movie. All right, so we'll move on now to our next story. Let's see. For you who are of the similar age as myself, this should come as a, cautiously optimistic news. Knight Rider is in the works as a reboot for a big budget movie. Now, this is probably going to be like a reboot, a remake entirely. I still, they've tried several times to get a spin-off off the ground with David Hasselhoff somehow attached. They had Knight Rider 2000, which I thought was a pretty bad telemovie, which was supposed to pick up the events of Knight Rider, which I don't know. I don't really know why they set it in the year 2000. I mean, I think the film took place like in 95 or something, but they set it a couple of years in the future. They brought back William Daniels, of course, the great William Daniels, for the voice of Kit. They brought back Devin Miles, the great actor there. And, of course, they brought back David Hasselhoff as Michael Knight. But the story was basically made to set up a spin-off series, which would have had an actress, I can't remember her name either right now, pick up where, Michael Knight left off. She would have driven Kit, and, Kit was transformed into a different style car. It was red, and I don't know. It just, it was, trying to remake it, which, I don't know. It just didn't really fly. They killed off Devin, I thought, in a very cavalier fashion, which is what struck me the worst. That was what sort of rubbed me the wrong way with that film. But they continue to play Michael Knight, I guess maybe because this is the way Hasselhoff wants to play him, as sort of being an aloof character after his tenure with the Foundation for Law and Government. I'm not sure why. I was kind of saw him as a bit more dedicated to, his calling in life, so to speak. Check out those original seasons of Knight Rider. I think if you haven't seen them, you really owe it to yourself. There's certain episodes, especially, that really stand out and were inspirational to me, of course, as I always say, for my comic Bolts Bourbon. It's really based on sort of that flavor of the 80s hero, which was very well personified by David Hasselhoff. Then came a 2008 show, which, I don't know, I think it was a little bit better received than Knight Rider 2000, to me anyway, where it was the son of Michael Knight, one of those type things, a long-lost son, and he finds out that, his father was Michael Knight. He's given a new and improved Kit, which I don't believe is based at all on the original Kit. There was Val Kilmer voicing this new Kit. They didn't even ask William Daniels back. And I never understood why, because as old as William Daniels gets, he can still talk, you know what I mean? I mean, now the guy is in his golden years, so, chances are pretty small that he's going to come back at this point. But, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, why not? I don't know, maybe they did reach out to him. That didn't last beyond a season. Like I said, it was hung up on a lot of the modern day tropes, where they had to have 50,000 ancillary cast members. They had to have a love interest. They had to have, the basic bare bones structure of Knight Rider is a man and his horse. You know what I mean? It's a guy in his car. You know what I mean? And the car talks. That's the gimmick. The car talks. You don't really need the bridge of the Starship Enterprise because you need to have, you know, the black woman, the Asian woman, the nerdy guy. You know, they were trying to make it like, I don't know, Scorpion or whatever. You know what I mean? Because that's what was out back then. It's not needed. You just need the guy. You need the car, and you need the boss. That's all you really need. And of course, you know, the mechanic, I guess, that we had Bonnie and April in the original series, you know, to provide a little eye candy, I guess, as well. Because it's like, again, it was a very macho type show. You know, it was just, that's the way they did it in those days in the 80s. That's what was so great about it. It was, you know, there was no girls to tie you down. You know, there was girls of the week, and then you just moved on to the next adventure. So let's read the copy here. A big screen reboot of popular 80s action-adventure series Knight Rider is in the works at Spyglass Media. Aquaman helmer James Wan, this guy's everywhere. James Wan is developing the project through his Atomic Monster production house. If he is also in line to direct, there's no mention of it in the Deadline report. Former video game writer T.J. Fixman is adapting the screenplay. Knight Rider ran on NBC from 82 to 86 and starred David Hasselhoff as a mysterious crime fighter named Michael Knight. The main attraction for most fans was KITT, the Knight Industries 2000 high-tech computer that controlled Knight's black Pontiac Firebird and served as his protector and sidekick. The show amassed a big cult following over the years with spin-offs, video games, books, comics, and a convention known as NightCon. Details are being kept under wraps, but the reboot is said to be a present-day take that will maintain the anti-establishment tone of the original. Anti-establishment tone? What the heck was that all about? I mean, this show actually came out at the height of the Reagan years, you know? I never read anything anti-establishment in it. But James Wan, being the potential director, is a good thing and a bad thing. It's a good thing because he's talented. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I think he did a great job with Aquaman, and he's already done this with MacGyver on television. He's kept MacGyver pretty much grounded in that, you know, MacGyver feel. But again, he kind of just remade it in the modern day image, and I can't for the life of me expect this new version to look as much like the 80s version as it will the 2008 version, 2008 version. It's probably going to be more like that again, where we're going to have like sort of the, you know, I don't know. We'll find out, I guess. We'll wait and see. But the good thing is James Wan, like I said, he's I guess he's probably around my age, and he grew up with these things, and he kind of knows how to treat them. He treated MacGyver, you know, with some respect. Changed a lot of things, I guess, technically, but you know, it's kind of like that's what they do these days. It's like The Flash. You know, we brought in John Wesley Shipp as his dad, and you know, they went so far to finally bring in the 90s Flash when it came to the crossover and stuff. But I mean, I don't really know that they go so far to bring back David Hasselhoff and yet again try to say he's the father of the new Knight Rider and so on and so forth. All right, so let me know what you think about the Knight Industries 2000 making its comeback. Good idea, bad idea? I don't know. I'm kind of torn, but we shall see. Another one, getting a reboot. Yeah, the reboots are plentiful. We have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on their umpteenth reboot for the big screen. Let's see, it was recently announced that a big screen CG Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles reboot was in the works from Paramount Pictures, Nickelodeon, and Seth Rogen's production company, Point Grey Pictures. Let's see. Rogen has given fans some idea of what to expect from his take on the Heroes in a Half Shell. Speaking to Collider, Rogen explained that he intends to emphasize the teenage aspects of the characters. As a lifelong fan of Ninja Turtles, weirdly, the teenage part of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was always the part that stuck out to me the most. And as someone who loves teenage movies and who's made a lot of teenage movies and who literally got their start in the entire profession by writing a teenage movie, the idea of kind of honing in on that element was really exciting to us. I mean, not disregarding the rest, but really using that as kind of a jumping off point for the film. So, again, I don't know. Honestly, don't know really what to make of this new version. I hope they look, reasonably accurate, like this image from the 2007, I believe, film. That was pretty good animation. And I don't know, I don't really trust Seth Rogen. I've said this in the past, to deliver on something like this, but I don't know. I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see. What do you think? Do you think Seth Rogen has it in him to make a family-friendly Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles film that focuses on the teenage aspect? I don't know. We will just have to wait and see. And finally tonight, the big story, the cover story, the story of the day. Let's see. Star Trek news. Star Trek news. All right, Star Trek 4 has been an on-again, off-again problem for Paramount for quite a while. Originally, it was going to be a full-fledged Star Trek 4 with Chris Pine still as Captain Kirk. And they were going to bring back Chris Hemsworth as a time travel story where he'd meet his father. Plans went by the wayside there when Pine and Hemsworth, challenged the contract negotiations where Paramount wanted them to take a pay cut. They refused because they were promised a certain amount before the shooting, and they walked, which pretty much led to the whole movie unraveling. Quentin Tarantino was to make a film which may or may not have had anything to do with the Star Trek Kelvin cast. Details are a little bit sketchy on that. And then we get to Noah Hawley was to make a movie that apparently was going to recast, if not a new cast for the Kelvin crew, or possibly just a new storyline with new characters. Not sure. But let's see. In this report here from Deadline, the future of Star Trek. Let's see. They heard that Noah Hawley's movie will feature an entirely new cast. The article revealed some potential plot details about the movie, which is said to be about a deadly virus. The current climate could be one reason why Paramount isn't rushing to tell that story. But if this report is accurate and Hawley's movie is made down the road as it is currently envisioned, it does not appear that Pine, Quinto, or any other stars from Abrams' films will be part of the ensemble. Now, this to me, before we get any further, this to me is a little bit weird because, honestly, Star Trek Into Darkness was almost a blatant, attempt to get topical inferences in the movie. I mean, it was made post 9/11, and terrorism was sort of the big thing. You had The Dark Knight, you had Skyfall, you had Star Trek Into Darkness, and that was kind of the thing. They were feeding on this terrorism vibe, and so it's kind of hard to believe that when there's a pandemic, they're starting to think, well, we don't really want to remind people of the pandemic. You didn't have any problem reminding them about terrorism, right? So I don't know. This seems like a very touchy, objection to make. Oh, it's going to remind people about pandemic and so forth. I don't know. Carl Urban, Zoe Saldana, Chris Pine, Zachary Quinto, John Cho are possibly not going forward under Hawley's Star Trek movie. Let's see. I'm trying to scan some of the stuff that we already read here. The project continued to evolve since its announcement. Shortly after the film was received, after this film was revealed, Simon Pegg, who played Scotty in Abrams' movies, teased that he and his fellow castmates might not be involved since he didn't think Hawley was doing Star Trek 4. In early 2020, Hawley described his vision as a new beginning and explained he didn't see the movie as Star Trek 4, making it sound less likely that Abrams' cast would appear. Even though Hawley's movie might not feature Abrams' cast, it appears there's still a chance that another film using them could happen. Hawley's movie is an original idea for a Star Trek film and not him taking over the previous plan that was floated where Chris Hemsworth would return as Kirk's father. That idea stalled due to contract disputes between Hemsworth and Pine with the studio, but it's still possible that it could be reconsidered. If making a new Star Trek movie is one of Paramount's priorities, and the storyline for Hawley's film will keep it shelved for a bit, bringing back the Abrams cast might be their best bet. So that is the report as of now. So, yeah, I don't know, going forward exactly what this entails for Star Trek, at least for the Kelvin timeline crew. Apparently, they were going to go forward at a time. I think they were even going to replace Chekhov because, unfortunately, the actor perished in, an accident. I remember them talking about how Anton Yelchin would be replaced possibly by that guy from the animated series with the 4 arms, the orange guy, whatever that was. So that was the plan, I think, originally, but if it's going to continue on, no one really knows now at this point, because I don't know. I mean, what is the future for Star Trek? That's kind of what I'm wondering. What is the future for Star Trek? Are they going to be able to carry on with the Kelvin timeline? Are we going to get a reboot? Because I kind of feel like Star Trek isn't Star Trek without Captain Kirk and the original crew. And the Kelvin timeline had its flaws and its ups and downs, but I think especially, like I always bring up, Star Trek Continues, Vic Mignogna's project. It showed that if given a reverent treatment, it's still, those characters are still great characters. They're still great characters to work with there. The trinity, so to speak, of Kirk, Spock, and McCoy is still one of the greatest, most profound ensembles in fiction, in television. That to me is always been a big inspiration to myself as well when writing, is to have that dynamic of the 3, Kirk, Spock, and McCoy. And of course the others were important as well, Scotty, Sulu, and Uhura, Chekhov. But I think that trilogy there, that trinity of Kirk, Spock, and McCoy, I would be really upset if they left that and didn't go back to it and sort of like, felt like it was passé or something. Of course, there's always the, all things come to an end type view on these things. You know what I mean? Like, you kind of have to pass the baton at some point, maybe. But again, since much of the original cast is passed on at this point, it's not like these characters were going to remain, with them. I think now that the baton has been passed, I think you really can continue with these characters in perpetuity and just recast them. And although, like I said, I really enjoyed this cast for the most part, especially Carl Urban as Bones. I mean, he was just spot on, fantastic. I think Quinto was great as well. All of them were very good. It would be a shame to lose them, I think. But let's hear from you. If you have any ideas about the future of Star Trek. Of course, we have the whole question of Star Trek Picard, and they're kind of trying to cling on to the next generation. What's going to happen with that pretty soon? It's probably going to go the same way as the original series, right? I mean, I don't know. But let me know in the comments below. As always, I will read and entertain any and all comments in the next subsequent broadcast. This was a fast one, and maybe I'll try to do another video before too long. And as I said, check out The Adventures of Bullets Bourbon Private Eye, the all-ages action-adventure series about a down-on-his-luck private eye who takes on the most colorful collection of villains imaginable in each and every action-packed issue. You will not regret it. And I will try to get some more... we'll try to do another video about the Bullets Bourbon comic series, try to get some more images up for you to see, and hopefully you will entertain the notion. All right, so once again, make sure you hit like, share, and subscribe. Check out the links in the description for our Twitter page, for our website, The Adventures of Bullets Bourbon Private Eye. Make sure you check us out again here on YouTube. Like I said, I try to do a show every Saturday here. The only way to spend your Saturday if I am not doing a quote-unquote convention appearance. So until next we meet, this is Johnny Torch reminding you once again, keep the flame burning brightly, and I'll be with you again real soon.